This is part 2 of a video discussing practice and how to get good at anything, not just music. When you are trying to get good at something, we talked about myelinization in the previous video and strengthening neurons. The important thing about practice in general is that it has to have a focus to it. You can't just go through the motions. You have to actually devote your mental energy on whatever you're trying to do. So if somebody is taking something and giving it all their focus for 5 minutes, trying to get better at it, that's way more effective than spending an hour just kind of going through the motions and not really thinking about it. Maybe you have something on the TV, or you have TikTok going while you're practicing. That's not going to be as effective because your brain needs that focus to help strengthen the neurons and the connections between them. So think about your practice every time you sit down to work on something. Not just music, anything. Sports, math, anything. When you're thinking about the task that you're doing, try and have an attainable goal during that time. So if you have, say you have like 3 lines of really difficult music, okay? It's not very productive, especially if you have a limited amount of time, maybe 5-10 minutes. It's not productive to try and just play through everything. Again, that's just going through the motions. What you want to do is sit down and say, okay, in these next 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to get this part of the music mastered. I'm going to do it as many times as I need to in the amount of time that I have. If I don't fully get it, that's okay. I'll work on it the next session. If you do that consistently every day and build on it, that's how you're going to get better at anything. You could take the hardest piece of music and you can actually learn it and get good at it if you have the patience to tackle it little by little every single day. So keeping in mind having a goal for your practice, many of you might have heard growing up or when you first started taking lessons that you have to practice 20 minutes a day. You have to practice an hour a day, whatever. And I know I've given you a time frame, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But the problem is that if you don't have a goal, the practice time is wasted. It's a waste of your time. Practicing 20 minutes with no goal is pointless. I see this with students all the time. You say, go practice. Go practice for 15 minutes. That's not really helpful, especially with people who are first starting to learn how to play an instrument. What does that mean to practice? What do I practice? You have to be very specific about it. Go practice this scale and keep doing it until you can play it ascending without making a mistake. That's a more specific goal rather than just say, go practice. It doesn't matter how much time you put into something. What matters is what you're trying to achieve, because when you are working towards a goal, you have a clearer image of your destination versus just wandering aimlessly trying to get better at something. You don't know what, but if you have a clear path, you'll have a clearer idea of how to get to that destination. And in doing so, you'll start to pick up on things that you might not have noticed because you're trying to get to that destination and there's these things that you have to work on. So for example, if you have to learn 4 measures of a particular tune and you say, I want to play this without making any mistakes, you might notice that on your way to getting to that point, you have 2 or 3 notes that you keep messing up. So rather than just play through it mindlessly, you're going to notice that those 2 or 3 notes are a consistent roadblock for you. So rather than continuing to play it over and over again, you're going to fixate on those notes and then play those over and over again until you feel like you got it. So in doing the repetition and the focus with a clear goal, you're going to achieve what you want to do way faster. I suggest that if you have 20 minutes, think about what your goals are. What do you want to get done? Is your goal something that is achievable in 5 minutes? If so, maybe add some things in those 20 minutes. If you need a full 20 minutes to get it done, just focus on one thing. The whole point is every time you sit down to practice, think about where you're going, constantly evaluate and manage your time, and you will be successful at anything you want to do, not just music. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and if you have any success using these ideas, please feel free to reach out to us at Bosse and let us know how it goes. Good luck.